guys, this is Amy with Sephora Pro.
And Myiesha, also with Sephora Pro.
And today we're here to talk to you about palettes. I know that I don't know about you, but I know about me, and I also know a little bit about Myiesha over here that, you know, we have plenty of palettes.
No,
Yeah.
you don't know anything about my shopping habits. She does.
With me, I have a collection of palettes, and sometimes I see that beautiful new palette and I just have to have it. But then I think, you know, I have all of these colors at home, like how can I even justify purchasing it? And believe me, I can definitely come up for a way to validate my shopping behavior.
Yes, there's always a reason why you should buy something. Pay your rent first, and then you can just go ahead and buy the palette. So we're going to talk about how to use those colors, one that you never use, or colors you maybe you're afraid of, and also how like different textures differ in different palettes, where you could have a matte natural palette versus a satin one versus a glitter one, and all these things.
Yeah, so let's get started. So it's always good to have a basic eyeshadow palette, meaning, you know, probably a little more on the matte side, maybe a mix of mattes and shimmers, but mostly neutral tones. That way you can use it every day. It's like that basic black dress that you can always rely on for any occasion.
Your girdle and your brassiere.
Like
your under things.
Like your support
Makes
system.
you look good with whatever else you put on top of it. So
one example.
My go-tos, Kat Von D Shade and Light for eye. They have a Kat Von D Shade and Light for face. This is the one for eye. And it's broken down into warm, cool, and neutral. I tend to gravitate towards the warm because of my skin tone, but I've used these for my brow colors. When I'm doing a more dramatic smoky eye, I definitely get in that black right there.
Yeah.
I've even used this color right here to set my under eye when I want more of a bright under eye. So with this one, just think of it as pigment. It's just really nice, smooth pigment. It doesn't mean that it has to be eyeshadow. You can use it on the face, under the eye. You can even like set your lip in the middle with it. You can pretty much do whatever with it. So this is a great must-have because it has all skin tones.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I personally like different palettes. Like for example, this one is a limited edition palette from NARS. So this is the Sarah Moon palette.
So pretty.
So pretty, which, you know, this is inspired by Sarah Moon's work. She is a photographer, very iconic photographer. But anyway, so what this is inspired by is just like your basic, like, you know, 70s, 80s kind of colors, those neutral tones. But what I love about these pigments from NARS is that they have this like gorgeous shimmer to them that's actually really great for a more mature eye or like texture on the lid. It actually makes my eyes look more youthful. So I definitely recommend, you know, you don't have to go full matte all the time, especially when you have texture.
Shimmer sometimes too.
Yeah,
I think people go for
you can go back and forth with it. And you know, I like it too because, you know, like how Myiesha was saying, like some of the bigger colors, like you could use this as a highlighting color on your eye, but you can also use it as a highlighting color on your cheeks. So think a lot of your palettes as, you know, not only just eyeshadow colors, but just pigment in general. And then that way you can get a little more use out of all the different colors.
And this texture I find, because I've told you guys before, I have eczema on my eyelids sometimes, and the way it reflects light, people can't tell that I have dryness on my eyelids occasionally. So that texture is amazing from NARS.
What really draws me to buying more palettes is usually not only, this is the chocolate bonbon, chocolate bar palette from Too Faced. I absolutely love it. But it's one of those palettes that like has all those neutral colors that I already have at home, but then maybe it has that really exciting pop of color there that is what really makes me want to buy this palette. So how I navigate through that is like I'll take that little color, that really nice vibrant color, and I'll kind of like mix it with a neutral shade. You know, I'll have my regular browns and then I'll mix that color with it.
I can even pop it into my crease and it'll warm up my eyeshadow a little bit.
Yeah.
If you have trouble blending your eyeshadow, or your eyeshadow just looks a little bit blah, a little too neutral toned, you put a little bit of blush or like a pink in your crease, it just warms it up.
It really does.
Nicely.
And I like to go a little bit crazier with it. You know, if I have, if I take that, I'm going to take that same exact color that Myiesha used, which is the pink, and then I'm actually going to pop it right on underneath my eye and really get like a really cool edge to it.
And this is totally Fetch, by the way, the color.
Totally Fetch. and then just kind of smooth it out with my finger. It gives me like a really soft pop of color, but like something really cool and fun that gives me like a brand new shape. So, you know, if you are not really sure what to do with that one vibrant color, I mean, you can just use it on the lower lash line too, just to give a pop of color.
So this is a new Urban Decay full spectrum palette. So it has this really beautiful sort of packaging. This is the kind of stuff, this and the NARS one, I like to put these on my vanity. They just look really beautiful. I just need them to be showpieces. They're so cute. So these are really bright, sort of fun colors.
I mean, like what? I mean, that's the kind of palette that you're just like, oh my gosh, look at these colors. And then sometimes you're like, yeah, I want to put that all over my face. And then sometimes you're just like, whoa, maybe that's not really all for me. And then sometimes you're like, I just wanted to sit there, like Myiesha said, and I can just look at it. But this kind of a palette gets me really excited because it's like how I have like my neutral colors as my basic black dress. I'll use that as like my jewels, you know, my jewelry, you know, or even like my shoe collection. You know, this is what how I kind of see my palettes is like just something like an add-on for a feel or an emotion or even just like a sign of the trend.
And for me, a lot of times, I mean, as artists, I can say we wear a lot of black.
Yes.
And I would say 70% of my closet is black. And sometimes I have that dress that just makes me look really good, but maybe it's a little bit plain. So for me, either I pop on a lip or I'll do sort of a colorful eye. And it's really, a palette is a much more inexpensive thing to buy than a dress or some shoes or something like that. So for me, I'll wear something, you know, really form-fitting, really plain and really simple, but I'll pop on some really cool makeup. So that's how I think of it too. But I mean, if you really want to get crazy with this, like those of you who are really crafty and do a lot, these are pigments. Like I said, think of eyeshadow as pigments. You can take this and you can make yourself a purple lipstick. You can make yourself a blue lipstick. You can mix it with Makeup Forever's Aqua Seal and make yourself an eyeliner. Colors like this, you can really break down and do different things with. So just don't think like, I'm not going to wear blue smoky eye every day. Well, you don't have to. You could do different things with it.
And you know what? I've even taken like, you know, like how liquid lipsticks are a big trend. Like I'll take a liquid lipstick and like maybe like more of a nude, and then I'll pop some pigment like on the outer corners and then put a gloss over top of it. That's really nice. This is just a really fun way to, you know,
mix and match. They never put a pure white in a palette.
I know. Urban Decay, I mean, for me, like I've been collecting Urban Decay palettes for a very long time. I've been a fan, and they just really just come up with such incredible innovation of palettes. I mean, they have the Naked series, and it's just amazing. Palettes aren't just about eyes. I mean, we have palettes that are for the face as well, like, you know, blush palettes. We have 2 blush palettes here from NARS, and I know you're really excited about that.
I'm super excited about this. So you can see that they're different colors. I would say this one would work for most skin tones, and even if it's not a blush color for you, it could be a highlight color for you. It has this really beautiful sheen. But this guy, okay, so makeup artists know about this color. Exhibit A, it's called, right?
So
like
pretty.
It's one of my favorite colors. And these are like, this is the ultimate blush palette for anybody with brown skin, I would say, or anybody in general. If you know how to blend, you can blend that color on a fair skin, and it's beautiful.
So beautiful.
But I'm just really excited that they decided to do 2 different color palettes, because this is amazing. I think all my cousins and my sister and stuff like that are gonna want to request this from me for a holiday. So this is beautiful.
And you know what? What I love too, the first time I ever came across Exhibit A, that blush from NARS, I think it was in like early 2000s, and I thought it was an eyeshadow. So, because their blushes weren't really too far separated from their eyeshadows, and so I was like, oh, look at this like reddish eyeshadow, and it looked absolutely beautiful. Here, I'll grab a little bit of that and put it on my eye as an eyeshadow, so you can kind of see I have something on, but look at that pigment.
It's insane.
Like, oh my goodness.
And I think sometimes with, especially really deep skin, people have problems finding blush because they want to go dark and it looks very bruisey. But if you are looking for a blush that's really pretty, if you're looking for a blush for very deep skin, it's better to go bright with pops of color, like these rich tones, or like a very bright pop of color, a bright pink or a bright red or sort of a bright burgundy. That's going to give you that flush that looks more youthful versus bruisey. So this is a really great palette. I like this a lot.
Love it too.
And the highlighter has more of a warm sort of gold champagne look to it, so it won't look ashy on your skin.
Like Myiesha was saying, you know, these palettes have a lot of different colors. What I like too about it is that you can pop the cheek with a lighter color and then maybe use a deeper color to do some like draping or sculpting around, you know? I mean, that's how you're going to end up getting to use these colors. Or maybe that color is a little too bright for you and then you can mix it with a different color, you know, to kind of mute it down.
Yeah,
and work with
this
it.
one's pretty bright, so maybe you're into these colors right here. But you can actually top your cream red lipstick with this. I do it all the time, and just pat it on over your cream red lipstick, and it'll make it into a matte color. If you want a little versatility, and maybe you don't want matte all the time, it's a really great color to do that with. So when you're shopping for palettes in general, you just have to think of other uses for the colors, basically, and you end up using way more of the colors in them.
And you know, it's okay if you feel inspired by just that one color, and that's usually why I end up buying palettes, is because, you know, they'll have other neutral colors to support that one color, but a lot of the time, if there's a palette that has like those brighter colors or like that one color that stands out, that's really like the main inspiration behind the palette in general. And so it's supposed to catch your eye. And so, you know, that's okay. You know, you're allowed to be attracted to that color. You're allowed to use that palette and then maybe go back to your trusty palette later, you know?
Some of us go to the art gallery and some of us go to Sephora. Like, I keep my makeup on display. Like, especially those Too Faced holiday palettes that they come out with, the fairy one and all these like cute Marie Antoinette ones. Those are just beautiful to me. So that's how I think of it too. So we have highlighting palettes to finish up. And again, like, we have so many palettes, we can't swatch everything, but if there's something in particular you want to see, I would say either go into a store or go to the beauty board on Sephora.com, and you can see people actually wearing the palettes that you're interested in too. So we have the Laura Mercier highlighting palette, which is gorgeous.
And I have a Bobbi Brown highlighting palette as well.
I get really excited when they press things really cool, like little waves in them. I don't know. I'm just a packaging person. Like, this is really pretty to me.
Well, that's a part of it. I mean, that's really like a part of what's going, you know, each of these palettes is like a work of art. There's so much thought that goes into the inspiration behind the palette, like how it's molded, how it's shaped, how, you know, the packaging is, like all of that has to do with the inspiration behind the product. So, you know, if something speaks to you, then it's probably that you're relating to what the designer is trying to relay to you.
Yeah.
You know, I
Just
mean,
put this guy on right here.
this is absolutely beautiful. I mean,
I like it a lot.
I love these two. You know, what I love about this particular palette from Bobbi Brown is you have all these different colors, so you could actually like take a brush and, you know, just use these 3 colors up top.
Or you could use a tiny brush and like get in there individually.
Use a tiny one. Or you could just use the gold colors like as a highlighter, or you could mix all 3 of them together if you wanted to create your own custom color. I mean, you can really, even though one may particularly speak to you, you know, like I'm more geared towards the golds and like a little bit more of like warmer tones, like coppers and golds. But you know, I've been trying to get into a little bit more pinks lately, you know, and just kind of switch it up a little bit.
Into brown lipstick, I'm sure you could top like this one over your brown lipstick.
Oh, here, yeah. I mean, even if I just took a little like on my finger.
That's really cool.
And it just kind of muted it down a little bit, added a little bit of a shimmer. We feel you. We understand what it's like to, you know, want to buy a new product and see these gorgeous palettes. And I mean, honestly, I consider my palettes a collection. So it's not just, you know, I'm buying some eyeshadows. I'm actually adding on to my collection as if I would add on to my wardrobe collection. So that's it, you know, feel free to comment below. Let us know what palettes you like. And if you have any questions with any of the palettes that you do have, you know, describe the color and let us know if you have any questions on what to do with it. And, you know, we'll definitely answer back because we read every single comment that you guys have. You know, we hear you.
Be nice, you know.
Yeah. We're people too.
So I think the easiest way to see these is either go in store or look at the beauty board. So until next time, guys, hopefully we will see you rocking some awesome palettes.
Yes.
So bye.
Bye.